Welcome to the DJNTV Chill Room Chat, your space to unwind and talk shop. This episode is sponsored by MadeByDJs.com, innovative tools designed specifically by DJs for DJs. DJEventPlanner.com, the industry standard for streamlining your business and booking faster. And DJRequests.com, the easiest way to manage your dance floor's vibe in real time. Support the show by using our Amazon affiliate link at djntv.com/Amazon. Now, let's get into the mix.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging on Monday Nights. John C. came up with a topic that I thought was really good on Saturday. Why don't you tell them what we're going to talk about tonight, John?
Okay. Well, the premise is when you get hired to work an event, someone's making the payment, and it's the question is the one who hands the check the one who rules the world? So we put it in the context of a wedding, let's say, for example. So bride and groom are getting married. It's their event. It's their day, but somebody else paid for it. And that person might have opinions that might complicate the flow of things, and just how you deal with it, and some of the workarounds, and who do you listen to when everyone, there's just too many cooks, so to speak.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do.
Has anybody ran into this problem before at an event? I've definitely had it.
I think so. Yeah,
definitely had it. And I'd like to go ahead and open this up to anybody in the room who wants to talk about it. I'll go last because I can go last. We might go 2 rounds on this. This might be 2 shows. Who would like to go first? And that's usually Damon. He always
There he is. He's ready.
Hi, my name is Damon, and yes, I am in charge. No, I mean, especially at a wedding, I would have to say, I mean, we've all done it, but to me, the bride and groom is in charge. I mean, it's their day. Yeah, mom and dad may be flipping the bill, but it's the bride and groom. It's their day. It's really, let me phrase that. It's the bride's day.
You're right.
Nobody really cares about the groom.
That's true.
No.
He's just there.
No.
It's the bride's day.
Yeah.
So my goal
Yeah.
is to make her as happy as possible. So to me, if she wants to throw an audible at whatever she wants to hear to flow, hey, it's her day. I'm gonna let her do her thing. So that's just me. I don't, like I said, mom and dad flipping the bill, but it's the bride and groom's. It's their big day. Let them do their thing. So
I think Buddy has a very similar opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the old saying is too many chefs spoil the broth, and I'm all for parents helping and giving 2 cents, but like anything else, it's an opinion. The day of, it's the bride and groom, and even mom and dad are paying for things, and sometimes the brides will go to their mom or dad, like, Mom, Dad, what do you think?
Right.
But ultimately, it's their decision, it's their day, and I've seen it unfortunately happen that mom, dad, whomever has kind of hijacked that event from that couple.
Yeah.
And you gotta kind of put some guardrails on, and hopefully sometimes parents do it because they're nervous, they're afraid because, their little baby boy or girl is getting married and they don't want nothing happening. They don't want a mean DJ or photographer or whoever to take advantage of them. I totally understand it. I totally understand. Unfortunately, there are some numbskulls out there. But the thing is that you have to put that aside and you have to act professional and explain to mom and dad that, hey, I have no problem with your opinion. You have no problem sitting in the meetings. I have no problem with you, talking and asking questions. Not a problem. But ultimately, it's little Bobby or little Susie's decision. It's their day. And you need to respect that as well. And that's one of the things that when we talk to couples, Tracy and I, we always tell people this is not our day. This is their day. We always make it focus about the couple.
Yeah.
And we will tell parents that focus on your child. Let them have their day. Let them enjoy their special day with their other half.
Good answer. Kevin, what you say?
Me?
Kevin with the mic. Yeah.
Gotcha. I've had some experiences, not a lot. Most recently, I guess it was last fall. hand-me-down wedding from a friend of mine, and
Okay.
the bride's mother come over because they had an extra long cocktail time,
Yeah.
and the food was being brought in and just dropped, and then they would leave. It was just in the aluminum foil. The mother come over and is like, I think we could probably go ahead and move forward. It's like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I just want to make sure that the food's all ready to go. And since it's, the bride and groom's day, just check with them. She go, oh no, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, perfectly fine. Yeah, makes total sense. Yeah. So I always, I just sort of, politely just mention like, well, let's see if they're ready, because there might be other extenuating circumstances beyond just the food's here. They might have some other things going on. Now, beyond parents, I've had on occasion, I did a wedding a couple of years ago, and the people that were sitting closest to where I was set up were not enjoying the music choices for a cocktail time. And it's like, look, this is their day. They gave me a selection of song, a type of song that they wanted to hear
Right.
throughout this portion. When it's your day and I'm there for you, you get to choose. But right now, it's their day, so this is what they want. The other thing I've had a problem with that sort of goes close to parents, I've had to deal with a wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
And
Go.
I didn't know there was a wedding coordinator basically till the day of.
I call those surprise coordinators.
Surprise.
Yes.
Hello, I'm here.
So
Who are you?
everything
Who
I
the hell
was
did you coordinate?
discussing,
It wasn't me,
I've never met
yeah,
you
yeah,
yet.
I wasn't included in this, so
Ale.
I was sort of thrown for a loop at the last minute. It's like,
Yeah.
coordinator, you
Day
wish you
of
would have told me
coordinator.
that way ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had already mapped out what we were going to do because they didn't want to be the center of attention. So they wanted to have their song shortened. So I knew this. He comes in with this big planner, and I'm discussing with him. He was like, I'm going to be bringing this song down early. No, you can't do that. I was like, yeah, that's what we discussed. So there was a discrepancy in what I was discussed with them and what they had discussed with this person. So the reason they wanted it brought down because they didn't want to be the center of attention. Well, he didn't explain why he thought he needed the whole song because he had it planned, which I thought was bad anyways, bad etiquette. He had it planned that the staff was supposed to be pouring the champagne while they're dancing. And even the staff said, "This is horrible. We're not supposed to be out there milling around making noise." But
Yeah.
yet this guy, he's a coordinator. He knows what he's
Yeah.
talking about.
Mhm.
No, he actually didn't. But so we were butting heads throughout the whole thing. So I finally just is like, I've had enough. I went to them, I was like, you told me information, you told him something different. What are we going with? Am I going to spend the whole day verifying that you want me to go with his? And she said, just defer to him.
Wow.
So as a result, I guess I got kicked to the curb, and the guy that, thought it was best to have serving staff, filling up the champagne bottles while they're having their special dance. Because they looked over at me, and I felt bad because now it's like, you're not doing what you said. So I felt bad because it made me look bad, and that's because of the wedding coordinator. So as you can guess, I'm not a great big fan of wedding coordinators.
Understood. Good ones and bad ones.
But a
Matt,
good
what do you?
coordinator would have the champagne glasses filled prior. Would you agree?
It should have
Right.
been planned around a lot better.
Yeah.
It's not, and he's purposely wanted it. Oh no, no, the whole song needs to be played because that's when they're going to pour. It's like, no, that shouldn't have
What do
been
you
that
got?
way.
What do you got on this, Matt?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah, I like it.
So I had a wedding that I did like several years back. I think this was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And it was the bride and groom that hired me. And this guy, like, okay, so this guy's like a garbage man, the groom. Okay. So when he's out in the truck all day, he's listening to the classic rock, the local classic rock station or whatever. So, and he's into like, all the like really mellow kicking back in the garage type of like mellow Bob Seger and Pink Floyd and
Got that song
all
Birds
that
in my
kind
head.
of stuff.
I'm getting closer to my home.
You know, and so he came up with a list of songs that he wanted me to play for their special day or whatever, and she
Yeah.
agreed to it or whatever. And so, I'm looking at this list, I'm going, this is not going to work at all. None of this stuff is danceable. It's like just sitting around and just chilling. You know,
Right.
nobody's dancing or anything. Like, you know, we're just listening to classic rock, like mellow, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
Against the Wind by Bob Seger. Or
So
whatever.
he wants his wedding to be exactly like a day in the garbage truck.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Make it just like any
but
day in the garbage truck, and I'm happy.
okay. So now, with that being said, the bride and groom, they're the boss because
Yeah.
they're the
Yeah.
one that's paying me, right?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and we talked about this prior to the event. He's like, yeah, just stick to my list or whatever. And if you get any requests, you know, whatever, check with me first or whatever, and we'll just kind of figure it out, you know. And so, you know, you've got he had a decent crowd there, and there was a crowd there that wanted to dance,
Mm.
especially the younger, like 20 somethings, whatever,
Yeah.
right? And so you want to try to, like, you know, play the field a little bit and, you know, keep a balance or whatever. Like, okay, yeah, I'm still sticking to your list or whatever, but I'm trying to, you know, make these people happy over here
Supplementing
as
with these other
well.
things that the
You
guests want.
know,
Sure.
so when I'm trying to make these other people happy, then he's right up at my booth going, stick to the list.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, ugh. So I mean, that's the whole thing is like, you know, in that situation, obviously he's the boss, he's the one that's writing the check or whatever, paying me. So do I stick to the list and stick to what he's saying and then lose all of these other people? Because then it's going to end up where, like, maybe an hour into this reception, it's just going to be him and, you know, like, his family or whatever, just sitting around chilling to, you know, Led Zeppelin.
It's kind of another conversation, but it almost feels like it's one of those situations where you can try to help somebody, but that's all you can do is try. If they don't want your help, then okay, it's an evening of Leonard Skinner
Hmm.
Golden Platinum
Yeah.
disc 2.
Garbage
And
truck's
that's
greatest
fine.
hits. Yeah.
If that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. You know, we
Yeah.
can do this other thing, but if you don't want to do that, we can do that too. We can have an evening a day in the garbage truck wedding if that's what you want.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
what
I mean,
that's all you can
imagine
do.
being at a wedding and hearing, like, you know, it gets to be dance time, and then all of a sudden, like, Stairway to Heaven comes on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is a completely different show, but I have come to the conclusion personally that my job is not to make people dance. That is not my job. My job is to facilitate an event and make happen whatever they want to happen. They want a dance party, we'll make it a dance party. They want an evening in the garbage truck, they can have an evening in the garbage truck.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's
Yeah.
whatever they want. Now, if they say, oh, they're gonna love a day in the garbage truck music, and you play it and no one dances, and they come to you and say, do something. Like, okay, then you play that stuff. You almost have to show them how wrong they
that's
are.
what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm playing all this, like, mellow classic rock stuff, and then I got these young people coming up to, you know, we want to hear Low by Flo
But
Rida.
it's gotta be their idea. That's the trick. And where you can send people to the groom and say, hey, if you want to hear this, you're gonna have to talk to him because he wanted Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band still the same. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta only try to help people. You can't force people to take your help sometimes, I guess. But
Yeah.
I get it. Eric, what do you say?
So it's like, yeah.
I'm cutting you off. Eric,
Yeah.
what do you say?
You know what? I got to agree with Damon. I'm in charge. No, and let me just explain why. I'm the one with the mic. I'm the one in control.
Mhm.
Look, these coordinators, as Kevin brought up, they can put anything they want on paper. it's not going to ever go as planned, as
No.
the way they want it. Things are going to change. And who does that dump it on? Us. Because now we, as the DJ entertainer, have to change up what they said. Here's the timeline, right? So we need to mix it up a little bit. We need to rearrange things, you know? It will never go as planned. Any wedding, in fact, every wedding I've ever done never went perfectly as far as they scheduled it, you know?
Let me give you a scenario, Eric. I'm going to
Go
put you
ahead,
back on track
please.
because I think we had a
We,
fork in
we,
the road
we
and we
got
took a fork.
sidetracked there. Yes.
But let me give you a scenario. It's
Mhm.
cool. That's totally cool. But I want to bring you back to what we're talking about, what John was suggesting. Let's say that you were doing a wedding for a client who wanted to hear 80s and 90s dance music. That's what your bride and groom at this event wanted.
Yeah.
And you're doing this. It's going well. Bride and groom's happy.
Yeah.
Mom comes up and says, we want to hear some classic country.
Mm.
I say, well, bride and groom don't want to hear classic country. They want to hear this. And then she says in a reply, hey, I'm writing the check. You should do what I say. That's the scenario.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
in that situation there, it's communication with the bride and groom as well, and going over to the bride and groom and explain to them that, mom is asking for this. We want to make
right.
mom happy. Again, you want to help them make informed, intelligent decisions, the couple, but also it brings away from you making that decision because then it's back to the couple. Do they want to make mom happy or they want to tell mom, hey, not tonight? And the bride or groom can go over and tell the mom, hey, mom, I don't want to hear that. This is what I want to hear. I want the DJ to play what I want them to play. So it's one of the things. It's always the what if scenarios with anything, and when you deal with a bunch of different people, you have a bunch of different answers to everything. Far as those couples, the main focus is I feel when I walk into a wedding and I look at a couple, they're the ones that have the final decision on everything. And yeah, like Eric said, every single thing on a wedding time is always different, but anything that you do, I want to go back to the bride and groom. So even if mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, whomever it is, comes up and says, you need to change this, I'm still going to, in my case, Tracy is going to verify and double check because we want to make sure the bride and groom know what's happening, not all of a sudden they're like, what do you mean we're doing this? I
Right.
never want to get couples caught off guard, but at the end of, like before, at the end of the night, it's about the two of them.
Eric, go ahead. You got something.
Much like what Buddy was just saying, if mom is up there saying, look, we're flipping the check, and I believe Brian said this too, it's like, why not throw mom a bone here and there, you know? But I will put her under the bus before I play it. This is going out to the bride's mother who wanted to hear this. You know, now she still thinks she's in control. You could still do your job, whether it clears the floor or not. Now it's on the bride's mother. So who's in charge? Us, like Damon
Yeah,
said.
because you don't want to be like the guy that's always running to the bride and groom going, is this one okay? Is
Yeah,
this one okay?
you don't want to
Yeah,
be a
I
pain in
don't
the ass
want to
all
do
night.
that. Right,
Right.
right. Yeah.
No, again,
John,
again, you're renting a bride and groom. You're for simple things like that, something that you feel that again, someone's trying to override what you're expecting. And
Right.
again, not every decision you can go up to the bride and groom, should I play this song, play it? No, that's not what you're doing. But sometimes you run into the situation where someone could become overbearing, and you kind of look at the bride and groom to make a decision: do they want to be put in their place, or do the bride and groom say, "Okay, yeah, fine, great, do what this person says"? So it kind of also takes away from you, so you're not looked at as you weren't doing exactly what I want to have done on my wedding day. So
Mhm.
it's one of the things that you can look at and go, okay, I did exactly what the bride and groom wanted, even with mom and dad asking for whatever. the bride and groom had the ultimate decision. Do they want that or not?
John, it was your topic. You brought it
Yeah,
up. I know you got something to say.
I do, because I think there's an easy fix for this. Um, in the initial stages during the consult, when you sit down, if you know for a fact that the bride and groom are paying their own way, they're really the only two people that have to be in the room with you. It's
Right,
their day,
right.
and and you're all pushing the wagon the same direction, right?
Yeah.
Now, if there's an outside entity, whether parents, uncles, whoever, paying for this, then perhaps you have them in the sit down. I want them in the room together because I want to see the dynamic. I want to see between them who's in charge,
Great
because
point.
then I'll get an idea of what I'm looking at for the day. I'll see just whether this is going to be really overbearing, or the mother just says, no, just do what you want.
Yeah, you want to see if there's a clash.
Right.
Right.
So if they're on the same page, and I say, well, you understand, it's going to be her day. And we build the timeline, and the whole policy is no surprises for the bride and groom.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden the mother says, we brought somebody in. It's the sister of a famous singer. She wants to know if you have a microphone. And it's not scripted, and it's not on the page. It's not in the
Yeah.
notes. And
Yeah.
specifically, the bride said, my mom's probably going to try to get this woman to sing. We don't want her to sing.
We don't want her there.
She was
Please
at
don't
another-
listen to my mother.
there was another event we
Yeah.
went to. She was going to come in and do one song. She did 5, and they were sick of her by the second one. So I said, so we're gonna
She's fabulous.
that's he's also not getting the mic. I only brought speech mics. I didn't bring singing mics today. I'm so sorry.
I did a
Where
wedding.
is Jay?
Oh, I did a
It's
wedding
Jay. That's
30
Jay
years
for that.
ago. 30 years ago, I did this wedding where a couple got married, and I think that she was half Latina, half just, whatever, American born and bred, but half Latina. And the mom had a surprise. The Latina mom brought a mariachi band in, and they hated it. And they kept playing and playing and playing, and it was just cringy. You learn, you see this stuff and you learn. It's John, were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't
No, I'm
want to.
just to wrap on that, the open communication, having it all on paper and understanding. And I'll make a concession here and there if mom really wants to hear a song. It's she's part of the family.
Of
we
course.
can
Yeah.
throw her a bone, I think, as Eric said. But you just don't let her steamroll the whole day, and she's
Right,
gonna
that's
make it
the
into the
point.
wedding she never had. Like, not today, you're not, because
We
we've already
need to
got this
do
worked
a
out.
garter removal. They don't want to do a garter removal. We
Ultimately, protect the
Yeah.
bride and groom. They're your friends. You're the only constant in the room. It's a lot of relatives. You remind them, could you go touch all the tables? Try to help them, save them from themselves. And like someone else had mentioned too, if the playlist is going down the hole, then wait for them to come to you and say, we need to make a change.
Are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good on time. We got to get about 5 minutes to wrap.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I'll turn it over to you here, because I know you've got.
Well, no. This will be quick. I'll make it quick. I can give you 2 scenarios. One scenario that I'll give you is kind of the opposite of what we've been talking about, where I did a wedding, and it was a Mormon wedding. Okay. If you know anything about Mormon weddings, sometimes they marry incredibly young. They're barely 18. They're getting married. I didn't talk to a bride or groom. I talked to the mother of the bride and the father of the bride. They put this whole thing together. It was their family and people in their congregation who were there. And I just went with whatever they said, because they were obviously in charge. But that's the point. That's the key thing, is to figure out who's in charge. I've had meetings with clients before where the mom is very involved, and be it his mom, her mom, doesn't matter. And we're sitting at Starbucks and we're talking about all this stuff. And I will stop everything at one point in a nice way. And whatever you do, do it nice. And I'll say, look, I got one question for you. Who's in charge? So, what do you mean? It's like, well, when it comes down to what types of things we're going to be doing that day, what the structure is, what kind of music we're going to be playing, who's in charge? And the mother at that point will usually say, oh, well, of course, it's their party, whatever they want. Okay, that's cool. Just so we've established this. That way, they can't come back at me at the wedding and tell me that they want to hear side 2 of Conway Twitty's album in the middle of dance. So
Hello, darling.
nice to see you. It's
We've discussed it already. Yeah. So yeah, that's
So
your get out
it's
of jail free card.
established.
Yeah.
That's how I like to handle things. Most of the time today, I mean, really, most of the clients that I have, the bride and groom are taking care of this. They're professionals. They're working, they're living in places that probably cost a lot more than mine, and they have no problem paying for their own wedding. My kids paid for their own weddings. I mean, I chipped in a little bit, but nothing to say about it. Here's a couple grand, but for the most part, they took care of everything. So
Nice. Yeah.
anyway, that's the conversation, and that's a dilemma. And I will tell you this too, before I shut my mouth. The reason that I asked that question in the planning meeting isn't because I'm brilliant. It's because I've had this problem so many times in the past where the parents of the bride and groom will come in and try to strong arm me because I'm writing the check. You want to get paid tonight? You do what I say. It's like, how do I avoid this in the future? And that's the way I came up with. Establish who's dominant right away.
That's it.
And
Set
make
off the
them
landmine
say it.
early. Yeah.
Yeah, make them say it. Oh, it's their party. Okay, now that we understand that, cool. So,
Yeah, it's almost something you maybe should add to your questionnaire as part of something they fill out.
It's not a bad idea if you can figure out a clever way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, in a tactful way.
Well, we
Well-
do that with the bride too. If who makes the who's the voice of
final.
the bride? If I can't find the bride, is it going to
Yeah.
be one of your bridesmaids, or is it specifically the maid of honor?
Yeah.
Like if I can't find you, and who's your go-to? Who's your right hand for the day? And
I
I'll know
still
this is another point of
believe.
contact.
I still believe the who's in charge at a wedding, bride and groom. Sorry,
Yeah.
they're the ones. That's why you're there. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be there. Period. It's
The parents
let
would
them
argue if
make-
it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be there.
Well, that's
well,
it.
I get that, Brian.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's their day.
They've also been
Let's-
up for 12 hours and they've been on cocktails for 8 of them. So you got to protect them from themselves too. It's like, all right, we've already got this
Yeah.
established, so you didn't have to think about it today. Go have
This was
fun.
a wild topic. I'm glad you brought it up, John, because
It's good. It's a
wow.
good topic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This show is brought to you by DJ Event Planner. Please check out the link to DJ Event Planner in the description of this video on YouTube. Thank you, DJ Event Planner, for being foolish enough to sponsor our video tonight.
We love them.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you coming by and contributing, and great discussion. We'll see you next time.
Peace.